Hey everybody, this is day 28 and we are talking about doing the math for your goals. Hi everybody, I'm Cathy Naiser with the Naiser Real Estate Group here at Keller Williams Realty CityView in San Antonio. Thanks for joining our KW Model 66-Day Challenge Thoughts and Questions. So today on day 28, we are still on the economic model part 2. Yesterday we reviewed the basic formula for the economic model. Today we're going to calculate your profit and gross income goal. And then tomorrow we will talk about conversion ratios, how many appointments you need to go on, how many listings you need to take to reach your goal. So let's do a minute of review. Yesterday we talked about the economic model formula. So we have gross income minus cost of sale minus operating expenses, and that's leaves your net income or profit. There's a basic formula for this, and it's an ideal, and people at different levels of business and business structures will go closer to this or miss it farther. Gary has come out with kind of a set of best practices for different income levels. Obviously, someone who's an individual agent, their percentages are going to be a little bit different because they don't have buyer's agents or listing agents. They may have more staff if they're high producing. So you can use this to calculate how much income you want to make. And the basic formula is 30, 30, 40. 30% cost of sale, that's other people, commission splits, what you're paying out to either your broker or to agents on your team or in referral fees. Operating expenses, those are your office expenses, your salaries, your lead generation expenses. Those come in a number of different categories. And then that would leave 40% for net income profit. That's the goal, this 30, 30, 40, where you're profiting 40%. So let's talk about how much you need to sell. 2.4 million is a bit of a stretch for someone who maybe is just starting or doesn't have a well-developed team yet. So let's say you want to profit $250,000. So if you want to profit $250,000, let's talk about the math. So if I wanted to know what, remember our profit goal is 40%. If I want to know what 40% of 250,000 is, then I would multiply 250 times 0.40. Now that gives me 100,000. So 100,000 is 40% of 250, but that's not what I want. I want to do the opposite. I want to know what 250,000 is 40% of. I want to know what that big number is, the gross commission income number for the 240,000. So 250,000. I'm getting my 40%. So if I take 250,000 and I divide it by 0.40, that will give me what 250,000 is 40% of. And that comes out to 625,000. So that would be the gross income goal. 625,000, 40% of that is 250. So if I did want to calculate, just because I do want to be a millionaire real estate agent someday, so let's do the math. I want to net $1 million. So if I want to net $1 million, then I'm going to take $1 million and divide it by 0.40, because I want to know what it's 40% of. I want to know that big number. And that's 2,500,000. Okay? So 1 million net, 40 divided by 0.40 is 2,500,000. I'm going to do that one more time. There we go. So now, whether your goal is 2,500,000 in gross income or it's the 625, let's look at how many houses you need to sell. So what is your gross, what is your average commission? What do you make, all of them averaged together from last year or the last number of months that you've been doing this. What is the average that you made in gross commission? So if it was $7,100, then you would divide 625 by 7,100, and that would tell you you need to sell 88 homes. Buyers and sellers combined, 88 homes. Now, if your gross commission or your average commission is $10,000, when you divide that, you get 62.5. We always round up, so you get 63. 63 houses at $10,000 commission each one would net that. So, how much money do you want to profit? And given where you are, where you've been, how much money do you want to profit? Is that a number you can believe in? It's really funny. I started this video 3 times. Transparency here. I was doing the math for $350. I was going to say you want to profit $350. But every time I wrote it, I wrote $250. I would be speaking $350 and I'd write $250. So obviously that's where my mind is. $250 sounds like a great profit to me right now where I am in my business. It's not this millionaire agent profit. That's here. That's a pretty in-depth team that is selling a lot of houses. So let's say take that $2,500,000 and let's say that your average commission is $9,000. So divide that by $9,000. That would be 278 houses. That's a lot of houses in my mind for the level of my team. I'm an individual agent doing production mainly with admin assistants. So what works in my mind, so funny how the mind is. What works in my mind is the 250. That's what works. So what works in your mind? When I ask you what you want to profit and you wrote it down like that, what would it be? Realistically, what can you believe? Then divide it by 40%. Divided 0.40. What's that top number? And is that something you can believe? And here's the big one. Take your average commission. Divide the gross commission by the average commission. And is that a number you can believe? It's kind of a high number for me to believe. What I need to change is this. I need to make more money on each transaction, which means I need to find higher priced houses. I need to raise my price point some to get this goal, that my mind is locked in on, $250,000 profit. So what are your goals and what does your mind believe? Tomorrow we'll talk about conversion ratios. Thanks again for joining us and have a great day.